GM everyone, welcome back to Weaving Web3. I'm here again with the most amazing Angus from Chronicle, and we are going to be talking about what amazing things have Chronicle done since we last spoke to each other, and why verification is key in processing data with oracles.
Yeah, well, great to be here again, man. Lovely to see you, as always. Last time we spoke was at Zebu Live in London, I think, back in October. So, yeah, as you said, like a lot's happened since then, a lot's changed for Chronicle. But yeah, to kick off, to answer your question, what have we been up to? So, when we first met, we just launched Chronicle outside of Maker for the first time. So, it was all about just letting people know about Chronicle, letting people know that we exist, that we do oracles, that we are the Oracle of MakerDAO, and we've just sort of launched this thing outside of it for the first time. But since then, we've been working hard on integrations. Integrations are the lifeblood of decentralized Oracle protocols like us. We have our Oracle thesis is that we will deploy the Oracle or the feed, whatever you want to call it, on the chain. So it's always native to the projects that are using it. So what that means is that we have to integrate with each blockchain independently, really. This is great. This is fantastic for sort of data availability and security and things like that. But it means in terms of time, it takes a lot of time and resource to integrate. So we've been working really hard on that. We're trying to get across the entirety of the EVM space. So since we've spoken, we've integrated with Polygon ZK AVM, with Mantle, with Gnosis, we will have sort of Arbitrum, Optimism, ZK Sync all coming soon as well.
So all the big players.
Yeah, all the big sort of EVM names are there, and obviously that's where all the TVL is as well. So anyone who wants to use our oracles, really, we want to be there and be available on that chain for them.
I really want to say to everyone, I did record Angus's talk because I think it was one of the best talks I've done. I've listened to at this conference because you guys are actually changing the game forever now.
I appreciate that.
I see, because now you've released I forgot what was the new code that
Scribe.
makes Scribe.
Yeah.
That basically makes everything cheaper. And you were saying that you spent about 6.8 million in fees just to update prices of fees, and that is crazy.
During the MakerDAO days, like in the last bull runs, over $6.5 million just on updating the oracles, and that was all gas costs.
Yeah, and that's pretty crazy. And if you can reduce the gas costs of that basically allows users building new projects to, let's say, use your verifiable oracle, which is significantly better than all these other oracles that are, let's say, more centralized and have their own validators. And that's why I really love your vision, everything you said today, because it's like, damn, we are doing everything that all these existing oracles do, but 10 times better, offering better price. I genuinely, I've been in the space for a while, and you guys are actually giving back and showing the honesty, because you said in your talks, many of these oracles are not telling you where this information is coming from.
That's right,
all these things that can happen, or if one project that you said there was a decentralized exchange, was it Mango?
So Mango was a DeFi protocol, but they used just a single market on a DEX.
That just to some people?
Yeah, so as part of my presentation, I was talking about sort of the risks of centralization, the risks of sort of single point of failure, and we were talking about using a single data source for your Oracle. For your Oracle to sort of fetch the price, right? So in Mango's case, they had, I believe they had their own token as collateral on their product, which meant that you could put it up as collateral on the product and then lend, stable coins and other things against it. And for the protocol to understand the price of that token, it was using a single liquidity pool on a DEX. And obviously someone worked out, that they could flash loan that and pump a little liquidity in, pump the price through the roof, and then use that to drain the DeFi protocol. So I think the Mango Markets hack, as it's referred to, is they lost millions as a result of using a single source, a single data source.
Basically the opposite of FTX, the token crash.
Very different, different. But yeah, that all centered around just basically building I think they used their own Oracle for that, or built their own Oracle, and it was a low quality Oracle, really. There's no other way to say it. They didn't observe, what most Oracle protocols understand about having a decentralized and distributed approach to your sources and your validators.
Why would we trust using Chronicle?
Well,
Why is it so amazing that we should be able to trust it over other oracles?
So the thing is with Chronicle, we don't actually want you to trust us. We don't really support this sort of like trust us, we're an oracle approach, right? We want you to verify, right? Don't trust, verify, right? And that's really at the heart of what we do at Chronicle. So every update that the Oracle posts, be it for the ETH USD Oracle or the Bitcoin USD Oracle or whatever, right? Every single price update that Oracle posts, you can verify that the private keys for the validator that was sort of like chosen to push that price matches what's on chain, right? So you've always got a way to like verify the signature effectively and verify that what was reported by our Oracle is legitimate and true. And you've got a way of sort of tracking exactly what journey that data went on before it was pushed on chain as well. So like where it came from, all the data sources, all that sort of stuff. So that's what we mean when we say that we don't really want you to trust us. We want you to verify. So we're 100% transparent and we want you to go and look for yourself and understand for yourself as well. Like oracles are more than just how quickly can you give it to us and what's it going to cost? Like there are so many other questions that you should be asking when choosing an oracle, such as, what sort of Lindy effect and reputation does it have? What sort of trust do I need to put in your protocol to use you? Who is attesting to the truth of the data? Who are the validators in your network? Where does the data come from? All of these questions are things that we should be asking when building these DeFi protocols, because effectively you're managing millions of dollars. If you're doing it right, you're managing millions of dollars of TVL in your DeFi protocol, and the Oracle is the linchpin.
Absolutely.
That is the way that all of that TVL can evaporate if you pick the wrong choice, right? So we're on a bit of a mission to try and educate people about that and help them understand.
I think that's one thing I really liked when your presentation. You can literally go on the Chronicle website, you click on the whatever validator was chosen, and you can literally click verify whether that was. And it's like you don't see that anywhere, and I think that's the big problem. People want to understand, but there's literally no way to understand. Like you also showed, let's say other oracles basically just had the ether scan and just some random wallet, not private keys, and that is not verifiable, is it? So anyone could essentially make a malicious kind of hack per se.
Well, yeah, it's more that you're not giving the information to the consumer, or the user. In this case, these are people who have built DeFi protocols and things, right? These are very, they're very smart and talented people, and like, why would you keep this information from them? Like, it's the complete opposite of the whole Web3 and like distributed ledger, blockchain thesis, right? It's about being transparent and it's about being decentralized. So by keeping that data, to yourself and not sharing it and not being transparent, you're sort of going against that. And then if you have points of centralization, you're literally negating the benefits of smart contracts. It makes absolutely no sense, like why some of these oracles have chosen to go down centralized paths, and why oracles like Chainlink, for example, just don't have any transparency as to where they get their data and who actually signs that data on chain.
That is crazy to think that one of the biggest names out there is not actually conveying the potentially entire truth, and it could just potentially. It's scary. I just think. Made me think like, oh my god, this is not an ideal solution for our website.
Sure, it's not even like we're suggesting that anyone's being shady, right? Like not at all. Like I'm sure that all of these Oracle protocols are operating as they should do, but the real point there is that they don't have these sort of like, the information isn't available and the transparency isn't available. So, that just goes against the core ethos of the space. But the second thing is that by not having these decentralized validators, for example, you're putting your whole protocol at risk, so you need to have a decentralized validator set really to just make it the most secure that it can be. So that just goes, that itself goes beyond the whole point of transparency. Like, the transparency thing is like, it's something that we believe that consumers will want, and it's something that they deserve, right? It's particularly in this space. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the Oracle is going to get hacked, or the Oracle is going to get manipulated. However, any point of centralization does. Like, that opens up a whole can of worms, right? Whether it's a centralized validator set whether you're relying on a centralized bridge or a centralized network, if there's a point of sort of centralization in there, like this is a huge risk for DeFi. And there is currently billions of dollars of TVL being secured by oracles that have centralized elements to their architecture. So
it's actually really scary to think. And
yeah.
in your presentation, you literally gave like some names of, I don't know, sorry, I'm losing myself, but like it's just so crazy to think that these big players have the ability to be hacked because they are have those multiple single faults of failure.
Yeah, there's sort of those single points of failure, and it's a little bit like disheartening to see, like when people choose to work with these oracles, because you're like, you can only assume they're not asking the right questions, right?
Sure.
As I said, like I think really what people care about the most is like how quickly can you like spin up this price feed for me, right?
Yeah.
And what's it going to cost me, right? They're not asking those really important questions, like who's attesting to the truth of the data. So therefore, like, who am I trusting to say that this data is true? Like, how is your protocol put together? Like, do you have any points of centralization? Is there any risk to me using it that if you get hacked, that all of my TVL could evaporate, right, and go to zero? Strangely enough, people don't ask those questions, but those risks are there with some of the Oracle protocols that are out right now.
So what would you tell, like, let's say a user, a developer, or someone being like, I need to choose an Oracle. Why, in like one few sentences, would you choose Chronicle?
I mean, it's good that Chronicle rhymes with Oracle. That does help. So, like, very quickly, the reason that I say to people to use Chronicle is sort of twofold. So, like, one, as we just touched on at great length, it's fully decentralized, verifiably so, and therefore it has a validator set twice the size of its nearest competitor. So it's sort of twice as secure and twice as decentralized, if you like, as the nearest competitor. And all of the data itself is verifiable. You can track it from end to end on the dashboard and understand exactly where that data's come from, how it's been used, how the final value was calculated, and who in the network sort of effectively promised that data was true, attested to the truth of that data. So that's the first thing. Like, you cannot get more transparency than Chronicle when it comes to oracles. And the second thing is cost. So we've brought down the gas cost with our Scribe Oracle by 80% versus Chainlink on Layer 1, for example.
I think that's so key. Like we said, for that adoption, for those early user projects who don't have the VC funding, cheap, effective, and honest oracles is what you need, and this is what you guys are supplying. So I really appreciate you talking to me again.
Of course, Dash.
This has been Weaving Web 3 with Chronicle and Angus. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Bam.